Our today's guest is a walking concept of wearing many hats.
In the morning, she navigates in startup culture of Berlin, and in the evening, she sets up the dance floor of KitKat on fire.
I'm sweating, finally. As you know, Berlin is a great ecosystem for founders. So there are
Wow.
go to the clubs, go to the Späti. It's not easy being a female founder anywhere.
Hey, welcome to the episode of podcast How I Build My Life in Berlin. And I'm very happy to introduce our today's guest, Shruthi, who is wearing many hats because she is a founder of Hiveminds. She is also a CEO of DJing, and she is a producer and DJ performing with the name Beast, which has a very great concept, meaning bee from the east. Hi, Shruthi.
Thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction. And yes, you said I like to wear many hats, but I'm a bee who's kind of trying to be busy and do many things and trying to make it all work.
Yeah, today we're busy with our podcast, so we hope it won't take much of your time and will be very productive and interesting.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, just sharing the space, the energy with all of you. It feels really good. So yeah, I'm excited.
So, how was your day? Your morning?
My morning, the day is just getting started, right? It's a very sunny morning. So these are the perfect kind of mornings for me. I grew up in India in the south where it's every day is like this. So I won't call it too hot, but yeah, I get it why people say it's too hot here.
Something that feels like home.
It feels like home now. I'm sweating finally.
From our background, there's something we're not used to.
Yeah, it's vice versa. I would say Siberia. It's cold in there. Much colder, but definitely not plus 41 as I'd expect it to be this Sunday. So, how's life going lately? What are you working on?
Okay. Life is going great. I can't complain. I'm actually working on a couple of things, or more than a few things. Where do you want me to start from?
I would say, what excites you the most? What is your passion right now?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I am a people person and I love connecting people. So I have a community. It's called Hiveminds. Since I'm very much in the founder space, in the founder ecosystem, and I was a solo founder, I really felt the need of being around people with similar goals, ambitions, drive. So I formed a community and then now I'm doing events for them. So we do about one event a month and it's mostly a mix of hackathons, buildathons, AMAs, panel discussions. And I have an event tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. And it's just the fact that I'm getting to collaborate with all of these founders, ambitious builders from different parts of the world. And as you know, Berlin is a great ecosystem for founders. So there are people all over Europe who come to Berlin with this dream of building something and innovating. And this is the energy that I want to be surrounded by all day. So that really excites me. And it also helps me focus on my startup. So I have an AI native startup called Being, which is a sound wellness application. I know. I do have a little bit of background in sound as a DJ, as a music producer. So I wanted to take that experience and build something that's scalable and has something more to do with elevating yourself. So in short, I would call it a voice clone of the user, but from the future. So you tell it your dreams, goals, ambitions, what you want to work on, what you want to manifest, and it creates affirmations in your own voice. And the more you listen to it, the more it rewires your brain and it kind of helps you become the higher version of yourself.
So, do I understand correctly that it's like AI voice, which sounds like me?
Yes.
And speaks about my future.
It doesn't speak about your future. It doesn't predict anything. So if you tell it, oh, I want to start waking up at 5 a.m. every day, and or if I want to manifest X amount of money, or I want to quit smoking. So there is a version of you that has already done this, right? Like if you believe in like quantum physics and parallel realities. So this voice clone kind of takes on that version of you and talks affirmations to you as though it's already achieved that. So your brain, according to NLP, has this ability to reprogram itself, and it needs to hear it from a voice that it trusts and it's familiar with. And the most familiar voice to you is your own voice. You can also say that you trust the voice of a therapist, your mom, and the app also allows you to record somebody else's voice. But affirmation, since they are in this I am format, would be best if you listen to it in your own voice. So you kind of start believing that you're already there.
You just named all the goals I have right now. It's really cool that you have such an opportunity, and we have such an opportunity. I will definitely test this app or site. So where is it available now?
We're in a closed beta right now. We have about 10-15 users testing it. So affirmations, as you know, it doesn't work overnight. You need to keep listening to it over a prolonged period of time. So I have about 15 users testing it since the last 1 month. And I'm also collaborating with a hypnotherapist to kind of have regular sessions with them to see if there's any progress, because tracking progress with something like this is quite tricky. So I also allow them sessions so they can kind of give feedback on if they actually feel like they are in a better place from versus when they started. So soon, hopefully, it will be in the Play Store and App Store, and you can test it. But if you would love to try the beta, I can send you a link and add you to our beta program.
I see in some kind of nearest future, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. from the phone call, and on the phone call, it's me, it's myself who's speaking to myself. Like, Alex, you need to wake up. Alex, wake up, wake up.
Or
It will
Alex,
be-
I'm already awake.
Yeah, it would be super cool. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. I think it would be a great self-help tool also. So I personally used to send WhatsApp voice notes to myself to just remind me what are the things I need to do the next day. And then over a period of time, I started adding these little like cheering, pep talk kind of stuff in the voice note. And I just felt good about myself, listening to me. And I tried to make it in a way that it's kind of like my new reality, and that's where I got the idea from. And then I'm a non-technical founder who vibe coded the whole thing. So when I started testing it, everything broke, and luckily now I have a team of co-founders, founding engineer who is more technically equipped to build a product of this sort, and I'm more on the commercial side and shaping the vision of the product, which also gives me a lot of time to focus on the community. So, yeah.
I think it's a special talent to combine your artistic background and this founder and leadership side, because for many people, being creative and being a founder is something that is a bit set apart, and you combine it all in yourself. Did those two parts of yourself somehow interfere with each other, or does it help you to build like more complex projects and systems?
Sure. It's actually a privilege to be able to combine your passion with your professional expertise. And I have a background in marketing. I worked in B2B, B2C companies since the past 10 years. This has been my profession. But I knew always that I wanted to do something more entrepreneurial. So when I had the opportunity, I decided to just go for it. And that discipline really helped. And I've also been more creative in my thinking, and also as an artist, working with sound from a very young age. I'm a singer, so I come from a culture where in India, especially in Kerala, sound healing is also very popular. So I had my own insights about what sound can do to your body. It could help you with cellular regeneration, pain management. And in the app, we also combine these soundscapes with healing frequencies that produce this kind of effects and also put your brain in these alpha theta receptive states. So if I had not had that background in music and sound, then I probably would not be the right person to build something. So in a way, it came very organically to me. And yes, the professional experience has added a kind of discipline and structure, which then enables me to actually create a product, build a team, and then put it into the market, hopefully. So I say it's important to sort of nurture these different aspects of you They say that jack of all trades is master of none, but in today's day and age, I would say it's definitely better than being master of one, because it's good to be a generalist, or you could get replaced. And it's so important to nurture every aspect of you and try to also combine, not to just identify yourself as one profession or as one professional, but to say, I'm this, but I can also do this, and I have certain skills from here that I can leverage in this other domain. And that's kind of what I've been doing for a very long time. So I'm really happy that I get to continue doing that every day.
I think nowadays it's more like jack of all trades, master of AI. Since you can vibe code all the sites for your projects, it's really cool. Did you think that Berlin kind of shaped these attitudes and your professional experience in that way?
Of course. I mean, Berlin is a great startup ecosystem, first of all, but then it's also a very different city that allows you to be whoever you want.
That's the right one.
Yes. It can also consume you. So you have to sort of like really pick your tribe, pick what you want, and then it will nourish you in a very special way that you probably won't be able to get in a different city. So Berlin is very versatile, and it's a young city. So it has got this very dynamic energy. So funnily, I came to Berlin not with the goal of living or moving here. I was actually invited to play in a club called Ritterbutzke. And at the time, I was really focused on my DJ career. I had just put out my first EP as a techno artist. I was touring in Thailand. And I met one of the bookers at Ritterbutzke, who later introduced me to a booker of KitKat. And
Wow.
I do that too. And then I got invited to play here. So I came to Berlin with no idea what I was signing up for. And I wasn't even planning to stay for long. I was here for 6 months to get a sense of Europe. And I was working remotely for a company based in Norway. So I could be anywhere. And once I was here, I really started seeing this side of city where you can meet people from so many different backgrounds. It's like a melting pot, like of different cultures, different nationalities. And I didn't really have that exposure back in India. So I somehow wanted more of that. And I saw how it was shaping me as an individual. Yes, Germany can be hard. As someone who doesn't know the language, I had to deal with all of this bureaucracy. But with challenges, you grow. And for me as a person, comfort is very boring. So even in India, I've moved cities a lot. I've put myself in very uncomfortable situations just to challenge, like, how far can I grow? And Berlin was giving me exactly that. So I kept my doors open. I got offered a role at a company called Staffbase, which is a unicorn. And that was also a big learning experience to be able to work with global marketing teams. And I kind of took my experience from back in India and gave them something of value as well. So, in a way, what should have been a very short 6 month vacation Europe trip turned into 3 years. And I'm really glad I made that choice at the time. It was difficult. Like every day, there were days when I would question, okay, what am I even doing here? I don't have friends. I don't have the community. My family is back there. I miss the food, the warmth. But I'm glad I stuck around because I built the community. I started embracing the culture a bit more. Now I have this really cool set of friends whom I can just, call at 2 a.m. and say, hey, I need help with this. And they understand the struggles of being an expat. So they're there. And yeah, it has been a kind of difficult journey, but it also made me who I am today. Not that I'm very proud of, I am proud, but I know I have miles to go. And that's what I want to continue doing, like put myself in these like slightly uncomfortable, difficult situations. And I love being in rooms where I'm also not the smartest person. Like I like to be surrounded by people who are smarter, already ahead of me, and where I want to be in the next 10 years. So yeah, just being in Berlin sometimes allows me to be in those rooms where I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs, founders, artists who have already done the things that I maybe want to do in the next 10, 20 years. And that's an exposure that I really appreciate having in Berlin. Yeah.
Wow. So have you played in KitKat in the end?
A number of times. In fact, I used to be a regular at a party called Somnambul, which used to happen on Sundays.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how it's different to other clubs by your experience? Because we heard a lot of stories
From the other part of the stage.
from other people, obviously, not from our colleagues, but still.
And it's, I can assure you that it's a way more different experience when you're actually there. For me, the first time I went to KitKat was not the first time I played there. So I was supposed to play the next week, and a friend of mine was playing the week before, and she said, "You know what? You should go to KitKat with me and maybe get a sense of the place. It's a bit different from other clubs." And I had no idea what KitKat would be like. I mean, I knew it was a kinky club, but then I've never been in a club like that before. So yes, I was a bit taken back by the dynamics there, but somehow I kind of eased into it very quickly. I love techno, I love music, and it was a place where you could also like just dance and be yourself, and it's very respectful. So you don't get approached if you're not kind of like welcoming in a way. If you just want to be on the side, dance, do your thing, that's also a great place. And it's just a place where everybody sheds their mask and inhibitions. Some people come there to just be themselves, be free, de-stress. Some people come there to live out a fantasy that they cannot live out in their otherwise in their daily lives. And I also used to not just play there, so I've played there a bunch of times, but I also got to manage some of these parties because one of the yes, it was a very cool experience. One of the bookers who used to book me, he used to travel quite a bit. So I think it was during like the last or the summer before, I told him, hey, I have some time on my hands. I would like to be more involved in parties. And then he said, yeah, I'm traveling. Would you like to sort of kind of manage the party a bit? Be at the entrance, like not at the door, but kind of, where you collect the money and, let people in. You tell them a bit about what they're signing up for in case they're coming there for the first time. So it was really interesting for me to see these people, like how when they walk in, they're like really excited. And then I also would go around sometimes and, see if everything is in order, if everybody's feeling comfortable. And then, it was interesting for me to sort of like see the excitement and also, how they walk in versus how they walk out.
Any special secrets how to get in?
I mean, I would say it's a great experience. If you're in Berlin, if you're in your party phase, just don't be blindsided by what you hear. Like go there and experience. And I am a staunch believer of having these really diverse experiences, but it's also important to know who you are and who your boundaries are. So I mean, you have to be intentional, not just in a club, but everywhere you go. So for me, I was very clear that, for me, it's about expanding my network, connecting with artists. And I also love the energy of, just being around artistic, creative people and, dancing. And it's good to kind of like have that movement where you are able to de-stress, and somatic exercises are also a big part. So you can go to a club in Berlin and just, like de-stress and decompress and have a good time and go back to work. So, and I know that a lot of people in Berlin like party over the weekend. They start on Friday and, come out of the clubs on Monday. I personally can't do that. I party sober. So, what 2 or 3 hours I get in the club where I have the energy, I just like have a blast and then I go home and I don't feel like I'm restricting myself or kind of like holding back in any way. So yeah.
That's super cool. Speaking honestly, we've been to KitKat several times with our colleagues as well.
Okay.
So, and also on some of our projects with some of our participants when we were having projects in Berlin. And I would say that that's unique club. That's very cool. It's super comfortable. All of the people are nice. They're super friendly. There's a community even inside the club.
And I think it's a great representation of Berlin itself, with the
It
people
is
expressing themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, if you really want to get to know a city, like especially Berlin, I would say like go to the clubs, go to the Späti, go to the, I don't know, like
That's the
the
soul.
cool lakes, and you really get a sense of, and that really helped me also integrate, because I threw myself into these like places which I'm not accustomed to, and I'm good at observing and like picking up and learning, and I'm kind of like a chameleon in a lot of ways. Like, yes, I can be that person in the club, but I can also like go straight from there into my like morning stand-up meetings, where I'm kind of like, okay, tell me about where we are on this sprint, and so yeah, it's just something I like doing.
But do you have any favorite places in Berlin?
A lot, actually. I mean, I'm one of those people who try different places every opportunity I get. So there's probably not like a go-to place where you'll always see me, but some of my favorite places are also places which combine food and art. I'm a big foodie and I love admiring art. So there's this place called Fotografiska, where you can also see like an exhibition, but then they have a cool bar, Veronica, at the top floor, and the food at the restaurant itself is amazing, and it's quite centrally located, so I go there a lot. There's Lucy's, a kind of like brunch and deli place in Torstrasse. I also like the place for its cute aesthetics. It's pink, so it makes me feel a bit more like girly when I'm there having brunch with the girlies, that kind of vibe. And then there's also the kind of fusion food that you get in Berlin is amazing because of this cultural mix. You have food that has been taken from one region and then like just combined with a bunch of things to make it fusion food. So there's this Japanese restaurant. It's called 893 Ryote. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I hope. And it's actually one of those places which are a bit difficult to get in. Like, you need reservations in advance. Apparently, I heard that the chef there turned down a Michelin star because he just wanted to like do his own thing and not convene to the standards of what the industry demands. And that is such a good representation of Berlin. Like, nobody cares about validation or accolades. Like, people just do their thing, and it's a bit representative in the food there as well. So I'm a pescatarian, and I love trying like seafood in different forms, like in different combinations. Experimental food is something that I really like, so I go there sometimes when I can make a reservation in advance. I'm not such a big planner. And I also used to live in Kahnstrasse when I first moved to Berlin, which is in Charlottenburg. And there you have this lane of restaurants with like different kinds of food. So I just kind of like pick, what do I feel like having today? Okay, Asian, let's go for Vietnamese. Or, if I feel like having Italian, like so. Berlin has kind of helped me open up my taste palette a lot that way.
Alex, did you make your notes? Because I'm definitely adding
I
some
did so. I did so.
I have
places
a
on my
list.
bucket
I
list,
can
yeah.
share my list with you.
I would love to have it. I would love to, because I'm also a foodie. I love to visit all of the different places. And Berlin, you spotted the right thing. It's super nice for trying new things. There's so many restaurants which are so different from each other. In one of them, you can have like pink glazed hot dog with some sprinkles. In another one, you can have some kind of traditional German foods. And those restaurants, they're like neighbors. They're located on the same street. It's amazing. I love this about Berlin.
Yeah, and also like you sometimes go to like a lake or a nature kind of place, and there's a beer garden. So I mean, I personally don't drink, but then it's nice to kind of like just grab something from there. I'm big into matcha now, so I just like grab my Mio matcha, and then I'm like chilling there. Yeah, like European summer is great to do all this kind of stuff, right?
Definitely.
Definitely. And from this perspective, it's really interesting to compare how life, culture, maybe some food preferences, and making business building careers are different in Berlin, in Germany, and in India. Maybe you can elaborate on this topic, like like I'm asking you to in a job interview. Yeah, maybe we can talk more about that.
Yeah, sure. Yes, it is a world apart, but it's also, there are some overlaps and similarities. I can identify the similarities as Berlin being, or if you take a look at Europe and see how you can get from one country to another in 1 hour. So Europe, I would compare that to India. So you go from one state to another, like everything changes, the food changes, the culture changes, the language changes. So in a way, I'm used to the diversity. But then again, I personally come from the south of India, Kerala. It's also called God's own country because it's such a paradise. There's so much nature. Life is a bit more slow there. So this feeling of being rushed is something that I had to get used to. But it's also a personal choice. I mean, I wanted to, go places, get ahead faster, and I chose this. So Kerala is a lot more relaxed. And even in India, if you go from the south to north, everything changes, right? For me personally, the north part of India is a bit more chaotic, and it's a bit more loud, and I've lived in both places, and it took me a while to get used to the difference. And people are also maybe a bit more soft spoken, and they're a bit more chill, relaxed. Kerala is a place where the literacy rate is really high, so we have like 100% literacy. Everybody has gone to college, but then if you go to like some parts of India, we're still catching up. And because it's also a country where the primary needs and resources need to be given before you can think about building empires, for example. And Germany is a developed country, and it is something that I sometimes see. Like, it's no longer about survival. It's also about enjoying luxuries. Not saying that India doesn't have that. If you go to big cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, you see the contrast. So you will have these skyscrapers, and then like right next to it you will have these small settlements. So whereas in Germany, or like in Berlin at least, I can say that it's more like area. So you go to certain parts of Berlin, you see a more affluent kind of lifestyle, and then there are parts which are more gentrified. And I love the contrast. I'm a person who can do both. And when it comes to building businesses, also in India, you're competing with like 1 billion people, right? So you're very competitive, and that made me a bit more street smart, I would say. So one thing I've noticed in Germany is that rules are super important, and people like to think a bit inside that box. And I'm someone who comes from a place where you know what you want and you somehow make it work. Like, you try different things. There's always a way. In Hindi, we say jugaad, which kind of translates into like you make it work somehow. Like, you do something, but you make it work. You don't necessarily go by the rules, and but it works. And in Germany, I feel that things are delayed. Everything is a bit more like done in a certain way because people are just used to doing it certain way. And if I can combine that ability to kind of be spontaneous and proactive and think outside the box with the qualities that I get from this system, which thinks about, or which gives importance to precision, to quality, and to having structure, then that's taking the best of both worlds. So, as someone who grew up in India and is now living in Germany, that's what I'm trying to also practice. Like, be agile, but also be what's the right word? Like, be precise, and give importance to having not perfectionism, but almost like striving for perfectionism. Yeah.
I think that's
Great.
the best mindset with which you can come to a foreign country, to be open-minded, to be open for everything, to be a kind of flexible person. Yeah, that's impressive. So, continuing the conversation about comparing the cultures and lifestyle in different countries, is it more easy to be a female founder here in Berlin?
Easier compared to being a female founder in India? I can't really answer that. I'm not the best person to answer that because I became a founder since I moved to Berlin, right? So I don't really understand the ecosystem back there. But I can say that it's not easy being a female founder anywhere. And I've actually had these conversations and heard this from my female counterparts, founder friends in other cities, that it's somehow, I mean, we have come a long way. Like, women can now do everything that a man can. I mean, I'm not talking like physically, but in terms of opportunities, we do have these growth opportunities. There will always be people who doubt you, and as a woman, sometimes I feel that you need to kind of like go the extra mile to prove your credibility. And there are also like questions around, oh, but can she manage that and her family life and everything? So it's kind of like a uphill journey for a woman to be in any professional environment. And with founders, I can definitely say that there's still some kind of friction to come into that space for women. Because there's not a lot of stability and security, and women who are trying to do their best professionally are also looking for stability. And those initial years of being a founder can also come with a lot of what if, maybe. So I know women who are professionals and also building something on the side, but to go full-fledged all into being a founder, that's something that I haven't seen a lot of women venturing into. uh, there are exceptions in every city, and there are now these programs, accelerator programs. Also, I see VC funds that kind of reserve a little bit of capital for women founders, which is all definitely going in the right direction of bringing more women into the space. But despite that, somehow every event that I go into, there's, I think, 80% men. Everything is like very testosterone driven. And it's also, I feel, because there's this mindset that if you're a founder, you have to like build something in 2 weeks, ship something in the next 1 week, and then, like iterate and, like go for funding and, like talk to this VC. Or there's a lot of like fast movement, like aggressive, like go all in or nothing kind of attitude there, which is a bit different from the nature of being feminine, right? Like, women, I think, I can't speak for all, but for me at least, I can say I like to be in settings where I don't have to perform the same every day, but we're more cyclic creatures. So we like to kind of like also prioritize our health and how we feel on a certain day, and not have the same level of productivity. And the work cycle is not really optimized for women that way. So we're still far away from where we can say we have the right environment for both genders to kind of perform very well. We have to find a middle ground, right? Or we have to sort of like take things which kind of fit women, and then make sure that this is also a part of like the current workspace. We're getting there, and I see bigger cities where women are a bit more vocal about their needs, trying to accommodate this. But it's not an ideal utopian world yet, and I feel it sometimes. And that's why with Hiveminds, my community, I try to give all the support, tools, resources to bring more women founders into this space. Our last event was a women's build-a-thon, and a lot of men in my community were like, or male founders were like, oh, so now you're excluding us. I'm like, no, I mean, you do have opportunities. I'm trying to bring more women to into this space so that they feel seen, and then there are places where they can build, maybe not, and feel intimidated by the kind of people who are in the room, but they can build at their own pace. And I think with the right kind of nudge and the right kind of support, we can definitely bring more women into the space. And women can be amazing leaders. We're empathetic. I mean, we are basically people who take one thing and then turn it into something 10x bigger, right? I mean, we're natural at creating and nurturing. So I'm sure women can do this amazingly with businesses in the workspace. It's just that we need to kind of shift that space a bit in favor of women so that they feel more seen and heard and appreciated.
Ich verstehe, I would say.
What is that?
Ich verstehe, like I understand. That's the only thing I know in German.
Ganz genau, yeah, absolut.
Yes, I understand, because for women, our journey is always like between the two pressures from two sides. You need to build your career and you need to build your family, your personal life, and everything seeks your intention in this point, and you're kind of stick to this multitasking every day and this work that never ends. So thank you so much for the work that is being done in this direction. We at Copernicus Berlin also do some training courses on women empowerment, and I really hope that joining and combining all this support for women, we can really someday in the future reach some cool results.
Yeah. In an ideal society, I mean, my utopian world is where men and women have equal opportunities and also the ability to make choices. If a woman wants to say, hey, I don't want to hustle every day, I want to stay at home and be a mom, let her be. But if a woman says that I don't want to do any of that, motherhood is not necessarily something that I want to experience, but I want to build myself professionally or creatively, then she should not be judged for making those choices. And that's the kind of freedom that we need to focus on giving to women, so then they can just make the choices which are best for themselves.
It's a nice point. Just don't want to say.
Great. That's very great material.
For me, as for the person who also works in the creative industries, it sometimes seems hard to connect the people with idea and the people with money, because they have completely different mindsets. How do you manage to do that? How do you raise funds for your creative ideas? And is it difficult for you here in Berlin?
Okay. Well, we're not yet raising. We're still bootstrapped as a startup. But since I work very closely with founders, I can try to answer that. And this is something I also see a lot around me, where people go ahead and build the most amazing products, or what they think is an amazing product. And then there are no buyers or users, and they're just sitting on this, right? And yes, you can have an absolute good idea or great idea, but I think as a founder, what you need to understand is that you need to make sure that there are people who need what you're building. So even before you write a line of code or you start putting this into a deck, you need to actually do a lot of research interviews, talk to people and really listen. Like, don't tell them, hey, I'm building this, but wait and let them tell you what they would like in this particular space, what more would they like to see, or what's missing. And then when you build around that, you kind of know who your customers are already. So defining your ICP, your ideal customer profile, comes much more easier when you know your audience. And then once you're building, I'm a big fan of building in public. So it is difficult to put yourself out there and not feel that you're being judged, or you're doing it for the sake of validation. But when you build in public, you already have this loyal set of people who could become your future customers. They are kind of seeing the journey, and then you are able to take their feedback and bring it into your product or service. So be vulnerable, tell them that you're doing this for the first time, that you're no expert, or you don't come from this background, but you would like to create impact, and that's why you're doing it. So the why matters a lot. And when you have the clear intention of bringing about positive impact or creating disruption, then you automatically start building this loyal followership, which can easily translate into customers. And so, yeah, know who you're building for and tend to bring in funds. It's easy, but it's also not easy. So today you can even do crowdfunding. So when you have this customer base who wants to, now they're cheering for you, they want you to put the product out, and if funds or capital is what is standing between you and having between you having the product in the market, and it's staying a beta, then your customer base is happy to crowdfund you, maybe. Or you have these like really interesting I don't want to say VC funds because that's a bit more advanced, but angel investors, family offices who are really looking to support a cause that can actually make a difference. So, but you need to show traction, you need to show early usage. It could be a wait list, it could be people who are testing your product and giving you feedback. So, raising money is easier in the US, I would say, because the investors are a bit less conservative. When you come to European investors, they are a bit more conservative. I mean, they're very vertical specific. Yes, we want to take less risks. We want to invest in maybe like a B2B SaaS company, which is maybe like a more sure bet for them. But you don't necessarily need to rely on these investors. You can also go for crowdfunding. You can stay bootstrapped and get some funding from your friends and family. Start small and, have these like phases where, okay, now I have 50 customers. What do I need to do for going from 50 to 100 or like 100 to 500? So, and I'm sure most founders are already aware of that. But if you're someone who's like fresh into this, raising capital should not be your primary concern. If you build something that already has demand or that will make a difference, and not just because you assume, but you have real proof and data to validate this, then you're going in the right direction, and the funds will come. Like there is a lot of programs to support founders, and there's a lot of advice that you can get on social media. Look for people who have done this before you. So having a mentor really helps to avoid mistakes that they've probably made, and then you don't necessarily need to make those mistakes again.
Thank you. So it's mostly about the impact and about asking questions, where the main question is why. And I think to wrap up, we would ask you why and what would you say to you at the beginning of your journey, and what would you love to say to people who are just now considering moving to Berlin?
Mm-hmm. Okay, two questions there. What I would say to the version of me who was at an earlier stage of my journey, I would say don't overthink it. It's not necessary that you have a plan and like a vision. Like, yes, you need to have a rough idea of where you want to go, but everything's gonna change. We are living in a world that is changing so much. So just start. Like, your actions matter more than your big ideas and goals. So do these micro steps where every day you do one thing differently or one thing better than yesterday, and that's good enough. So you can track your progress that way. And to people who are just moving to Berlin, I would say ask yourself why you want to move to Berlin. if it's about just, living in a city that you're romanticizing, which is also a great reason to move to a city. But what do you want in Berlin? Because, like I said, Berlin can offer you anything and everything. You need to know who you want to be in this city. So it's important to have that clarity, and also learn German. I would say that.
So,
So yeah, I am preaching what I haven't practiced yet. My German is not great. Luckily for me, I've been able to work in ecosystems and in companies where English was the main language. But to really understand a city and to kind of embrace it fully, you need to know the language. So you don't have to be C1, C2, but if you can understand basic conversations, or if you can even be a good observer and then like see what's happening around you beneath that, like initial, okay, I see this, but to kind of like read between the lines and to understand the cultural nuances and to really try and integrate, that's going to be super helpful. So, yeah, just come to Berlin and have a good time here, but also be very clear and sure about who you want to be in Berlin or when you leave Berlin. So, yeah, be intentional.